Hi everyone, my name is Karen. This is my channel Rather Be Reading, and today I'm bringing to you my December and Christmas book haul. So December, the last month of the year, was kind of the last chance to, purchase any books that were going to be counted for like 2019 TBR type of things. So, December is always, and it's Christmas, so it's always a bit of a bigger purchasing month. But we will, as always, start off with the library books that I acquired in the month of December. So let's do that. I should have brought this pile closer, but I didn't. But now here it is. Okay, so the first book that I picked up from the library in December was Lady Helen and the Dark Day's Deceit by Alison Goodman. This is the third and final book in the Lady Helen trilogy, which is a YA historical paranormal series about Helen, who discovers that she has kind of demon fighting abilities, and it follows that, and I've been really enjoying this trilogy, so looking forward to getting to this third and final book. Next I picked up Sticks and Stones by Michael Hybert. This is the fourth and final book in the Detective Leah Teal series, which I've talked about a bit recently on my channel. It's a small town Alabama detective series, but mainly it's got alternating perspectives, but a lot of it is told from the perspective of the main detective's son, who's like 11, 12 kind of age range. I really enjoyed the first book. It has gone steadily downhill for me, but this is the final book, so I want to finish it out. But it is really chunky compared to the other books. Like, this is over 500 pages, whereas the other three were all kind of in the like around 300 to 350 page range. So I don't know why this is so big, but I've got it. And then another series completer, I have Sun by Lois Lowry. This is the fourth and final book in the Giver quartet. Really excited to get to this. I was very disappointed in the way of the ending of the Giver, and then the sequel. What's the sequel called? I can't remember, whatever the sequel is, but then I did quite enjoy the third book, and so I'm looking to finishing this. Once again, a lot thicker. The previous three books were all really short, and then this one is like almost 400 pages, so it's really just a thing where authors, like, the last book in a series is always so much longer than the previous books. Anyway, I picked that up. I then picked up something I'm so freaking excited to get to, which is Buffy the Vampire Slayer Volume 1, High School as Hell by Jordi Belair, Dan Mora, and Raul Angulo. This is created in collaboration with Joss Whedon, the original creator. So this is like a new Buffy comic that's coming out. I'm not sure how many volumes are out so far, but I don't even know if this is like just literally comics of the show, which I'd be totally happy with, or if it's like a reimagining of the show, which I'd be happy with. Basically any kind of Buffy content I'm pretty much going to be happy with, but I'm really excited to check this out and see what the heck this has got in store for me. So excited to get that. I then picked up Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson. So this is a thriller. Well, it's being marketed as a thriller. So I have read most of Jocelyn Jackson's books. I have been trying to read... So I read from her a couple of years ago, The Almost Sisters, and loved it. And I wanted to go back and read through her backlist. And I've read all of them, except I think for two that my library doesn't have. And so I haven't been able to get my hands on two of them. And then I'm now up to, excluding those two, her most recent publication, which this is. And all of her previous books do generally have some kind of mystery element to them, but they are more general / even women's fiction with just kind of a bit of mystery like dribbled in there. However, this one is being marketed as a thriller, so I'm not sure whether it is going to turn out to be like women's fiction with just a bit of mystery, or whether it actually is going to be a thriller. I don't actually even know what this is about. I picked this up purely based on the author. I've had a hold on this for a really long time, and it finally came in, so I'm excited to get to this one soon. I then picked up The Burning Room by Michael Connolly. Sorry, there's so much cat hair flying off these books as I lift them up. That is just my life. The Burning Room by Michael Connolly. This is the next book in the Harry Bosch universe that I need to read. I believe this one is a specific Bosch novel. Yeah, it is. Oh, I just saw the top of this, and I don't want to say what it is because it could kind of, I guess, technically be a spoiler, but that intrigues me, what is written on the top there. This is like book like 27 or something in the overall universe, and then book like 15 or something within the Harry Potter itself. So like I say, this is a long-running crime fiction series following a detective that I've been reading for a long time. So I got that. And then the final library book that I picked up in December was Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. So I read Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell in December, and I really enjoyed it. And a lot of people don't enjoy the Simon and Baz like portions, because Kath in that is a fan fiction writer of this series called Simon Snow, which is basically like Harry Potter. And she writes fan fiction for it, and at the start kind of most chapters you get kind of a little snippet of some kind of fan fiction that she has written. And this book is that fan fiction. Like, so her main fan fiction that she's working on is the 8th book. So at the time that she's writing this fan fiction, there's 7 books being released, and the 8th and final book isn't out yet. And while they're waiting for that publication, she's been writing her own fan fiction version of the 8th book, and that's what this is. Now, I didn't love the fan fiction portions, but I was intrigued by that story and how similar to Harry Potter it was, and just the way that it was all going to work. And I know that this has a male-male love interest, like a love relationship in it, so I'm interested in that. And so it is a chunky, like, how long is this? Like over 500 pages. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to find this, but I'm interested to try it because I did really enjoy Fangirl. So I grabbed that. So they're the library books. Before we jump into the physical books that I picked up, we will touch on the ebooks that I acquired this month. So I purchased 2, or did I? Because the very first book that I have is called The Secrets We Keep by Mia Hayes. I have no idea how this ended up on my Kindle. I literally have no idea. I have no recollection of ever seeing it. I don't know what this book is, but it appeared on my Kindle. And it's in my order, like in my Amazon orders on my account. Like, I apparently purchased it for $0, which is good. Wait, was it $0 or was it even like $1 or something? I'm not even sure, but it was cheap at least. But I have no idea. Like, I literally have never seen this book before. I don't know how I ended up purchasing it, but it's apparently I did. So I have it now. It's basically about a woman who has escaped to a new town, and she's hiding some kind of secrets. I believe that we know that the secrets are all just kind of around her mental health issues. I believe she's been in a mental health institution at one point, and she's kind of keeping that a secret. And then someone starts posting on a blog about like all the secrets of like the women of this town, and she's worried that her secrets are going to come out. I don't know too much about it apart from that. Like I said, I have no idea how this ended up on my Kindle, but it did. And then the second book and final book that I purchased on ebook was My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I was really excited to see this on a really good Kindle deal. This is a very popular like thriller that went around this year, was nominated for some book awards, and it is set in Nigeria, and it follows 2 sisters. One sister is a serial killer, and she has basically keeps ending up in situations where she murders boyfriends of hers. And I believe like when it starts, the other sister like helps her cover it up because she thinks it's like an accidental death, like accidental / like self-defense type of thing. But then it happens again and again, and now she's caught in this cycle of helping her sister clean up after these murders. And then the sister who's helping cover it up becomes interested in this guy that she works with, but then her sister, the serial killer, also becomes interested in that guy, and stuff gets complicated. I've been intrigued about this book for so long, so I was really excited to see that on a Kindle deal. So they're the 2 books that I purchased on ebook, but I also have 4 NetGalley arcs that I was approved for. So I just mentioned in my last video, I'm finally up to date on all my NetGalley arcs. So I have been requesting some new ones because of course I have. I was so excited to do it because I've been really disciplined for quite a while in not requesting anything. So I did finally request some stuff, and I was approved for some things. I requested stuff right around like the very end kind of December. So there will be some more NetGalley arcs in my January book haul, because there were some that like I hadn't had responses on yet in December and like didn't come until January, and there's actually still a bunch that I'm still waiting to hear whether I've been approved for or not. So there'll be more NetGalley arcs in my January book haul. So the first one was actually on my January TBR, and that is The Leaving Party by Leslie Sanderson, as this is a 31 January release. This is a thriller, and it's basically about a woman who receives a black rose on the anniversary of something every year, and it's like for the last 13 years. We don't know what that anniversary is. And then her and her boyfriend are planning to move away, and she's really happy to finally be escaping like what's going on. But then a party like gets put on, like a leaving party or like going away party, and it just kind of references that everyone at the party is the people that she's trying to escape from, and I'm sure all secrets are going to come out, and it just sounds right up my alley. So I was approved for that one, and that is on my January TBR. Like I said, that one is published on the 31st of January. I was then also approved for a book called The Silent House by Nell Patterson. This is published on 1 March 2020. This one is another thriller. It's about a family of deaf people, and they wake up one morning or one night, I don't know, they wake up at some point and discover that their daughter has been murdered. And I believe we're following the perspective of the interpreter, the like sign language interpreter, who is brought in by the police to help liaise with this family, and then all about trying to figure out who murdered the daughter of like this deaf family. Sounds very intriguing. I love a good murder crime fiction. And that one, did I say the published date for that was 1 March 2020. The next book that I was approved for is actually a romance, and that is The New Guy by Catherine Freeman. This is being published on 13 March 2020. I decided that I wanted to branch out a bit in my selections. I request the occasional YA, but mostly it's thrillers, and I do want to read some more romance in 2020, because romance used to be basically my favorite genre, and I used to devour like Harlequin, Mills and Boons and those type of books, and I just want to get back into some good, like straight up romances. I read the occasional one, but I don't read anywhere near as much as I did, so I just thought I had to look through the romances, and this is one that I was interested in and was approved for. All I really know about it is that it's about a romance between a woman who has a one-night stand with a man, and then lo and behold, when she goes to work, it's her new boss. That old chestnut, very cliche, but I'm just hoping it's going to be a really fun, enjoyable romance. So I've got that one. And then the fourth one that I was approved for in December is The Secrets They Left Behind by Lissa Marie Redmond. This one is being published on the 7th of April 2020. This is another thriller. This one, well, like mystery thriller. This one is about 3 college girls who go missing around Christmas time. They go kind of missing without a trace, like their phone, keys, all of their stuff is left behind. They just go missing. But we're following a young police officer, I think she's like 23, female police officer, who is put in undercover as like an 18-year-old college student, like at the college, to try like infiltrate the college and figure out what's going on and why these girls have gone missing. And that was a kind of an interesting angle that you don't really see a lot in thrillers. So I just thought that that was going to be a bit of fun, and so like I said, I requested that one and was approved for that one in December. So those are the ebooks. So now let's move on to the physical books that I purchased. So the first 3 books I have here are just my standard normal monthly order that I think I actually placed in November, and the books just happened to arrive at the start of December. So the first one I have here is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This is a thriller that I have been so hyped to read for so long, and everyone says to go into this as blind as possible, so I don't really know what this is about. It is way tinier than I expected. This is like just over 200 pages, so yeah, I'm really excited to have my hands on a copy of this. I really want to like cheat on my TBR and read this like ASAP, but I'm excited to have a copy on my TBR now. I then picked up a copy of God's Grave by J. Kristoff. This is the second book in the Nevernight trilogy. I have read this. I've read the first 2 in this series, but I didn't own them, and I have really loved this trilogy so far, the first 2 at least. And so I wanted to purchase this. I really like the spines on this. They've kind of, I don't know if you can see, the like kind of speckledy, and then the first one's got a red spine, and then this one's blue, and I think the third one is yellow. But yeah, I purchased this so I have a copy eventually of the whole trilogy. So I got book 2 this month. And then the final book that I purchased is Warrior Witch by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the 3rd and final book in the Stolen Songbird trilogy. And I believe that is a YA paranormal about trolls, which is funny because if you've seen my TBR or my recent reads video that went up recently, you will know that I'm actually reading another YA paranormal about trolls, and I don't think I've ever read about trolls before, and I am not enjoying it. so far, but I've heard really good things about this trilogy, and I do own the first 2 books, and so I finally purchased this 3rd book, so I have the whole trilogy on my shelf. I actually think that this is possibly going to be a series that I get to at some point in 2020. So we have that. So that's my normal order, and then we just have 5 books that I purchased for myself for Christmas. I don't typically receive books for Christmas, one, because my family think that I have too many books, which they're not wrong, and then also it's obviously just really hard to buy for someone who you know has so many books, because they would just be scared that they'd buy me a book that I already own, which is a very real risk. So I did purchase 5 books for myself, and basically what I did, so 3 of these books I actually have read. So they're not adding to my TBR, which I'm really happy with. And I basically went through my wish list and purchased, and this sounds like really like bougie, and it is, but I purchased a lot of the expensive books off my wish list that I don't like normally pick up. Like, I splurged on them for Christmas. And like I said, and because I was purchasing things that weren't, a lot of them weren't adding to my TBR, I kind of like splurged in that way. So the first one that I purchased is this copy of Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. So this is the Australian edition. I have the first 2 down here. So I actually already own the Diviners. This is the cover for the Diviners. And then I also owned Before the Devil Breaks You, which is the 3rd book, but I didn't own book 2 in this series. Like, look at those spines. So I now own, I mean, I should put them in order, I guess. I now own the first 3, and I've already checked, and the 4th book, which is coming out in 2020, which I'm so pumped for because it's one of my favorite series, is coming out in these covers, matching covers. So I'm so excited to have these all in matching covers. I just think these covers are really pretty. Like I say, and I wanted to get my hands on that 2nd book to like match the rest of my series. So I splurged on that because it is like a more expensive book. Excuse me. So I splurged on that for Christmas. Sorry if you can hear the box. I haven't taken these out of the box that they came in yet. And then the next 2 books are the same book in 2 kind of different editions. And that is the Hufflepuff House editions of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I have the paperback copy and the hardback copy, which has, of course, the sprayed striped edges and then just yellow around, and it's got the yellow end pages, and I believe it has, yeah, the gold writing on the spine. And I do own, in fact, you can just see it behind me, these yellow books here. I do own the Hufflepuff paperback and hardcovers of the first 2. And when these came out, I wanted to purchase them just from like my local like Target or Kmart, but for some reason I could just never find the Hufflepuff editions. I think I found the Hufflepuff edition of the hardback once, but it was like a little bit ratty, and so I didn't want to buy it. And then I just never saw them again. I would constantly see the Gryffindor and the Slytherin editions, but I just never saw Hufflepuff. And so for Christmas, I was finally like, screw it, I'm just going to buy them. So like I said, these are not adding to my TBR because, of course, I've read this. Same with, of course, Lair of Dreams. I've read that. So these are the 3, these 2 and Lair of Dreams are the 3 that I purchased that aren't adding to my TBR. So now we come to the 2 from the Christmas order that do add to my TBR. So the first one, actually, I'm going to leave that one to the end because I'm kind of most excited about that one. So the first one we have, well, of these is Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. So this is a YA kind of magical realism story. I believe it's about we're following a main character whose family have kind of magic, but your magic kind of appears when you're in like your late teens, and her magic hasn't come yet, but her sister's has. And then there's also a female-female relationship, and there's like, it's kind of magical realism. I've heard very good things about this, and I've wanted to read it for ages, but for some reason this is only available in hardcover. Like, this has never been released in paperback, even like in Australia and the UK, which is very unusual. And so it's more expensive because it's hardcover, and then just generally this is a bit more of an expensive book, even though it's pretty small. Like, this is like under 300 pages, but I have had this on my wish list for ages. Like I said, I decided to finally splurge and get it for Christmas for myself. I'm just gonna have a quick look under the dust jacket and see. It's just kind of a blue spine, a nice blue. Oh, with, I do like that shiny kind of bright blue text on the spine. So we have that, and then the final book that I purchased myself for Christmas, I'm so excited, is The Cities of Dead by Alice. Sorry, it's not Alice. We realized this recently. It's Elise Arden. This is the third and final book in this trilogy. The first book, you can see them here, is The Casket Girls and then The Romeo Catchers. So I read the first two of these off NetGalley. I read both of those from NetGalley, I believe, and then I did purchase myself copies because this is a self-published series. So it's a YA paranormal trilogy set in New Orleans. It basically follows a main character, Adele, who is discovering, like, they're returning from a hurricane. I don't think is it Hurricane Katrina, or is it just like a Hurricane Katrina type hurricane? Anyway, they're returning from a really terrible hurricane. Like, New Orleans is basically being evacuated. There's still a lot of flooding, all of that, and they're returning. And basically there's like witchy stuff going on, and voodoo and vampires and all kinds of magical elements. And I really have enjoyed the heck out of this series. Like I said, so it's self-published, and I did purchase the first two because I wanted to support the author, even though I had already read them from NetGalley. And then I wanted to purchase this third and final book in the trilogy so I can finish it. But this is really expensive. Because it's self-published, it's a lot more expensive to buy. For quite a while, this was $46 on Book Depository for the paperback. I don't even think it's available in hardback. $46, and I just could not justify it. So I finally did purchase this. Like I said, I splurged on it for Christmas. The price had come down because this has been on my wish list. Like, this was published a couple of years ago now. Oh, it says 2019. Maybe it came out right at the start of 2019. So it's been on my wish list for ages. Maybe it was on there for a while as a pre-order before it came out. I'm not sure, but it has been on my wish list for ages. It finally came down. I think I paid about $31 for this, which is still like kind of outrageous for a paperback. Like, that's way more than I normally spend, but it is self-published. I really did was happy to support this author because I have read the first two books and love it, and I'm so excited. I probably will be getting to this too. I do generally prioritize books off my TBR that are series continuations. I don't think I'll get to it in January, but maybe in February, because I think I'm going to reread the first two books before I get into this, because it has been a while now since I read those first two. But I'm really excited to read this final book and finish this trilogy. So yeah, so that's it. Those are the books, library books, the ebooks, and the physical books that I received in December. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've read any of the books that I hold, or to chat about what you guys were picking up in December. Did you guys go a bit crazy for Christmas? Like I said, I was pretty reserved. Like I said, I only got 5 things, and 3 of those I had already read because I was really conscious of trying not to add super crazy amount of books to my TBR. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. But I would love to chat in the comments down below. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye, guys.